Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's VDF44 coming at you with another video. All right. So I feel like I got to put this out. Yeah, it's starting to smell a little too much. Anyway, I'm starting to get to a point where I feel like I should probably reiterate what the Laker mentality is. Um, as it pertains to the fans, I know fans understand this. As it pertains to the league, everybody kind of gets it. But I want to give it to you from this guy's perspective again, because I've done this before. But as it pertains to being a Laker fan, a knowledgeable one, the mentality here is championship or bust. We really have gotten to a point where we're humble. I'm not going to sit here and say that we're to the point where we expect to win every year, because clearly we know we don't. But it's at a point where if we're not striving toward a championship, whether it be from the bottom up or close to it and grabbing it, if we're not striving toward a championship, if we're teetering on like how the Pacers are looking right now, where they're just kind of cool being middle of the pack forevermore, just kind of stuck there, or the Minnesota Timberwolves with Kevin Garnett when they were in this kind of stuck in that eighth seed spot for like 6 years straight. Yeah, we can't do that here. Like that, Laker Nation would go nuts if we fell to mediocrity. I think, honestly, we fare better when we suck completely. When we ain't got no talent at all. When we sitting around with Robert Sacre and guys like Chris Mim and the guys that like that. When we have a team full of those guys, we are actually better as a fan base than we are when we're sitting in a space where we know we can't get better, but we know we're not bad enough to get a lottery pick. It's kind of where we are right now. We know we can't get better. We know that we're only as good as these three stars are going to take us, and that these three stars don't have enough role players to help them get better. We know that. But we also know that we don't have any of our picks. So even if we were to suck this year, it means nothing. That's unacceptable. That's, as a Laker fan, I can assure you, I can speak for every Laker fan, that is unacceptable. We can't deal with that. See, the thing about our fan base, which a lot of people didn't realize, even I didn't realize it growing up, is that we really do love the journey, you know? So when we found ourselves with all those bad players, and we started our process with Jordan Clarkson, and then we started piling up players like that, D'Angelo Russell, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Julius Randle, all these guys start coming in. We loved that. We did. We loved it. We weren't winning championships. We weren't even making the playoffs, but we loved watching those kids grow up. We knew we had the future on our team. And granted, we believed in some of them more than others. But the point was, we knew that if we broke that team up, all of those kids would be scattered all over the league, making the league better just because of who they are and what they were able to accomplish, developing here before our eyes. And that was a good space for us as a fan base. If we can't be winning championships every year, three-peats and all that, give us a young team like that so we can watch them grow up and then believe in them and see them get to wherever they're going to go. We gave up on that process. All right? I think 99% of Laker Nation is fine with that. I don't think Laker Nation loved that core of kids. I think we loved the idea of having a core, but we looked around the league and saw better cores on other teams. So we were cool to get rid of these kids. We were. I wasn't necessarily, personally, but as a fan base, we were fine. We brought in AD. Of course, Braun came through. All of that's fine. We were happy. That's blissful energy. We were saved. Got us a championship in the worst year of any of our lives as it pertains to being a sports fan, because obviously we lost Kobe Bryant and Gigi and all who were lost in that situation. And that was the toughest thing we ever been through, and we were able to cap it off with a championship, couple that with the bubble and all of that, the season being paused for several months because of the virus. It was a lot. But Laker Nation, the fan base, was engaged. The whole what? How long did that last? 16-month season? We were very much locked in as a fan base. Locked in. We're locked in now, too. But you know what I'm sensing? What I'm reading a lot of fans saying about our team this year, they were hard to watch. And that when the big three aren't together out there, it's really hard to watch. The fans that kind of just don't really want to watch. Myself, my friend who I was talking to, and several other people online all said the same thing about last night's game. We were about an inch away from turning it off when the Lakers re-engaged our interest and started getting the game back in place. That was a sentiment amongst different people in different places. We were all saying the same thing. We were just about to turn the game off, and then they started playing well. But what I'm saying is the interest in this particular roster, it's waning on us. We're not in love with this mashup of players. We love the idea of having Hall of Fame players. We love the idea of having the names we have. And I think under better circumstances, we would love to have each and every one of these guys on this team. But as a collective, I'm not going to say it's not interesting because that's a damn lie. But when you watch it, you just lose your interest in watching them. Because they don't have all their pieces and everything. So it looks as if they're not competing properly. They are an older team, so they are conserving their energy smartly. But what I'm trying to get around to saying is the product on the floor matters, yo. And we put together a product on the floor that should be amazingly entertaining, and to a degree it can be. But what you're finding is fans losing passion for rooting for this year's squad as this season pushes forward. We're getting to a point where we're like, I don't want to watch this ship crash and burn. Like, I guess that's what I'm saying as a fan. I don't really want to see that. I'm not saying I'm not going to root for my team. I'll be there watching, of course, to keep my channel going. Like I said, I sat through all the worst eras. I sat through all of it. And there were times where I didn't watch when they were too bad to watch, and that's fine because I was focused on the draft. So either way, I was engaged as a fan. But we don't have our pick. You know, even if we were to like punt the season, we're just going to give our pick to the Pelicans or somebody. This is how I felt about the LA Clippers as well, as it pertains to them not having Kawhi and not having their pick. So them kind of just running around for no reason in my mind. I'm starting to think the Lakers have the same dynamic going on right now. And it's only because I know for a fact that we're not good enough to win a championship. And as a fan, I really don't aim for anything else. As a Laker fan, I really don't have interest in anything else. You know, because when we're putting together those young kids, you're putting together those young kids with the intention of seeing them either become champions themselves or, of course, trading for a player like AD to make us a champion, which we were able to become. We don't have that dynamic right now. We have an underperforming AD. We have a aging LeBron James who can't stay healthy. We have a Russell Westbrook who's having a difficult time adjusting to a fit that isn't meant for him. It's a bad fit, and as a result, it's not a good watch. It's just not a good watch. And I think that's something the Lakers need to really think about. You know, last year when we had Dennis Schroeder and all those guys, that was a decent watch. We enjoyed watching them. They played at a fast pace. They played defense and offense. Alex Caruso down there as a cult figure. It was fun. We didn't win. It got frustrating. We had our issues, but we weren't sitting here saying, man, I want to turn this game off. Yesterday, we were like, man, we want to turn this game off. And I think the Lakers need to do something about that. I don't know what they need to do. I don't know what the solution is for that. When you put together this type of talent, and you're paying this type of luxury tax, you don't want to hear this, what I'm saying. But I'm not just speaking from my own perspective. I'm taking the temperature of the fan base as it pertains to the people that I'm able to do so with. And I'm telling you, they are losing their passion for this roster. Not the team. Absolutely not the team. Laker fans love their team, and they'll root for me if I'm running around wearing the colors. But it comes to a point where it's like you bring us all these superstars, and they just underperform. You know what I mean? And you build us up. The media builds us up to believe we're going to be champions, and then we look around and we have all these wonderful old names that we remember and know and love, but they're underperforming. And we play for championships here. You know, I look at Anthony Davis's, um, his tenure here thus far, and like I said, I'm so thankful that we have a championship. So thankful that he chose to come to LA, that he wanted to be here. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit here and take this further than it needs to go. But the mentality of what it means to be a Laker, we are not satisfied after one championship. We become hungry after one championship. It's, as they say, like one chip. You can't just have just one. It's literally that for us. It's like you give us a championship and it's like, that tastes good. May I have another. That's how we approach championships. The pinnacle of what it is to receive, we're not happy getting that. We want a collection of those to pile up. Just like our previous generations were able to celebrate, we want our kids to celebrate that as well. Old championships don't do nothing for today. We need to be able to dominate today. And put together these trio of players because that is the mentality that our team has. But it's just like anything else. When you don't build properly, it doesn't really matter how much money you pour into it. It's not being built properly. So you put all these great pieces together with this idea that they're supposed to come together and make it happen. But if the pieces don't fit, did you really build something special, or did you just spend a whole lot of money? Like that's what I'm saying here. So it's like, I don't know. I look at Anthony Davis, I turn back to him, and then I say, man, I'm listening to what you're saying. We got to find ways to win without LeBron James. I think the mentality of the player of your caliber needs to be, I'm going to dominate this league while LeBron James is gone, and we're going to find a way to win games, and if we don't, you blaming me. See the difference? Now, there's no guarantee that my thesis or idea, whatever the heck the word is, that my notion that Anthony Davis's words won't reflect in his game. He could very well say with that little script that I just said and then come out and play terribly. Does nothing. Or he could say exactly what he said and then drop big numbers when we win a bunch of games. That's good enough. I learned that lesson with Giannis Antetokounmpo this past playoffs when he was giving all that praise to KD, and I'm sitting there saying, man, you acting soft. Why you giving him all this? And then he goes out there and murders him. So, what comes out of a man's mouth doesn't necessarily have to reflect in his actions and vice versa, though it would help if it did for our perception purposes. But what I am saying to you is this. Anthony Davis is giving me timid mentality, wordplay, and he's giving me timid energy on the court as it pertains to his level of expectations of his game. Now, if he were someone else, like an up-and-coming player, like a Christian Wood or something, giving me those numbers, I'm singing his praises, talking about how much I'm proud of him. Evan Mobley giving me the numbers that AD's giving me, Rookie of the Year. Let's give him his praises. It's not about the production not being, on a level that you have to give praises to. It's the fact that the player himself is on a level higher than that and is not delivering, And then the mentality, what comes out of his mouth, is just like, well, I'm a role player. We're missing our big dog. We just got to find it. Well, I don't want to hear that from a guy that's supposed to be a top 10 player, fam. I don't want to hear that from him. I don't want to hear that from a leader like Domantas Sabonis on the Indiana Pacers. I don't want to hear that from De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento. If your player's down, your best guy's down, or your running mate is down, you're the leader. We got to find a way to win. No, I got to dominate because I'm the dude that can do that. Go up on Shaq, man. There's just certain level of confidence that should come with the type of talent that I believe AD possesses. And that's not to speak to him being somebody he's not. But what I'm saying is, man, lace up your boots, bro. You a Laker. It's something different here. We ain't trying to win championships. We're demanding. And if we don't get them, we can't sleep at night. That's the mentality of this team. That's the mentality of this fan base. We are not the rest of the league. The rest of the league has their own goals and their own level of what they're reaching for. We're somewhere else. Respectfully, we're somewhere else. And what we do is we collect what it is that they're trying to get. We hoard those. Like OKC and Boston hoards picks, we hoard chips. That's what we do. This isn't just some rah-rah mantra crap. They're up there. 17 of them. We got them. They're there. All gathered within the last 45 years, 50 years. Not like, respectfully, the Celtics who got most of theirs in the first half. of the NBA tenure. We've been really doing this. So we know how to do it. Our fan base is accustomed to knowing how it's supposed to be done. And when we don't see things being done a certain way, or we see them kind of cut corners, or we see them doing the wrong things, yeah, you're going to hear stuff like this, where I have to get up here myself and remind people that we are not like that. We don't feel as if it's okay for us to be okay. Nah. If we're okay, we fail. If we suck, we got to change that. That's not something that we're going to sit here and be okay with. And you got to understand, too, we're in a position that most other teams are not. We got to take advantage of that. We have all that I've described. We have LeBron James, the biggest leverage piece in all of basketball, arguably, and his clutch management team helping us. Like, we have things that other teams don't have that'll help us get better. We have this locale, this LA locale, and this LA Laker emblem that everybody fawns toward. You know what I mean? Players all over the league dream about being on this team. We shouldn't suck because we can have anybody. You see what I'm saying? That's bringing it all in home here. The Lakers should never suck because everybody wants to be here. When Ben Simmons opened his mouth, say where he wanted to go, here. When Anthony Davis said where he want to go, here. When LeBron James decided where he want to go, here. Kobe Bryant, draft night, all the rumors about how he wouldn't play with nobody else. I don't know if that's true or not, but where did he end up and stay forever? Where did Shaq want to go? Right after leaving the NBA Finals? Because he couldn't beat Kareem and he wanted to get, Hakeem, and he needed to get away from where he was and get a bag. Where'd he go? I'm just at a point where I think it's important that we got to remind everybody that we are not the rest of the league, respectfully. I love everybody, but no, we ain't y'all. We different. We gonna stay different. There's only one team that looks us in the eye. We're competing with them, and that's Boston. That's the league we're in. We're not in the league with everybody else. We're in the league with the Boston Celtics, the two-team league as far as I'm concerned, and it's a battle of who's the greatest franchise in NBA history. That's the only sport we're playing. That's what we're doing here. Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Russell Westbrook, that's what we're doing here. We're not competing year to year for a championship. We're competing with the best for the crown. Do you understand? So, for all of those who are interested in what it means to be a Laker fan, you're curious about being a Laker fan, that's what you're signing up for. The entitlement of greatness and the expectation of such. And anything less is a failure. And anybody that's bringing us a failure needs to go. That's the mentality of the Laker fan. Now that that's been established, we're a patient bunch too. Like I said, we've been through the soccer, we've been through everybody. We welcome a lot of people. We've had people that we didn't like. We've welcomed them in, including LeBron James, Karl Malone. These are people we didn't like at all. And we love them now. They're families. It's cool. So that is also what we are. We're a family-based organization. Got great ownership that stands for the right stuff. It's a lot of good stuff to make you feel good about rooting for this team. It ain't just championships. They got community-based, dealings going on and making sure that they're invested. And they've been this way for a long time. Lakers have always been invested in the community. So there's a lot of good things I like about this organization too. But just from a standpoint of just the sport itself and what we're rooting for, yeah, man, we're on a different level. I don't know what other teams, even in other sports, I go to other fan bases. I don't know what y'all got going on. I don't know. But I've been very much enriched in this since I was 9. And I'm telling you, this has been the mentality since I was that age. We're not playing for anything else. So, if you don't have that mentality, don't come here. As a fan of the sport, seriously, and I mean this from my soul, if you don't have that mentality, if you're not that desirable about winning multiple championships and doing the due diligence of making yourself available to be that for us, if you're not ready to do that, don't come here. Don't take our bag. Don't stand under our lights. Don't put on this uniform. Because what we don't want is lackadaisical energy from players who are greater than they display when they get here. You go all Hollywood, We ain't Hollywood. The guys on the front row, respectfully, all those superstars, they ain't up. That ain't who we are. You got to go deep into the city to find the real Laker fans. We can't really afford them tickets, but we have this mentality. And we will not support lackadaisical effort from superstars, role players, or scrubs. We won't do it. We accept players who can't play that well. We've loved some players that ain't been that good because they gave us their all. And we have booed players who have been amazing because they didn't necessarily play up to par. We ain't Philly. We ain't about to boo you just to be booing you. We don't take pride in being angry. We want to succeed. We want to root you on. And we have some fans who are not knowledgeable in their bandwagons, and I can't speak for them because they're not in this at all. They're bandwagons. But we talking about these diehard bleed purple and gold guys? Yeah, no. We believe that championships are our birthright. And we have the championship to show for it. So this gonna be our arrogance forever. Bring that mentality to us. If you're that kind of player, you got that type of mentality, take our bag. We're gonna win. History shows it's how it goes. But if that's not what you're about and you kind of want to go a different route, we respect that. This ain't for everybody. But that's what we on. My name is BDF44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.